So welcome everybody. This is Sarah Hayes, the Astromomma, and welcome to your September 2017 monthly horoscope. And we're finally here in the month of September. You know, it's the month of movement, of action, and of the reactivation of last month's total solar eclipse in Leo. So I'll get right into that. So first, I just have a couple announcements, and excuse my voice. I'm dealing with a little bit of sinus issue today. So the first announcement is, again, just to thank you guys for all your love, comments, support of Astromomma, coming over to my Facebook page and, sharing, my info and coming over to my website, astromomma.com. and purchasing my readings. I just really, really appreciate it. So thank you very, very much. And also, I just want to extend my heartfelt sympathy to all of the people down in Texas and the surrounding Gulf Coast in relationship to Hurricane Harvey. My prayers and my sympathies go out to all of you. I know I have a lot of viewers, that follow me on Astromomma. And I have friends and family that live down there. So, I'm sorry that you guys are going through it. I just wish you all the best in your recovery and stay strong, definitely. So my second announcement is I will be doing a special Jupiter in Scorpio video coming up soon. So Jupiter is going to be going into the sign of Scorpio in October of 2017. And Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system, so it rules, luck, abundance, fortune. So when it changes signs, it basically just indicates new fortune in that area of your life. So I'll be going over each sign, and I will be looking at how, Jupiter will be affecting you when it transits into Scorpio. So I'll get started with the monthly horoscope. I'm going to give a general overview, and then at the end, I'm going to go through each sign and kind of go through how the full moon and the new moon will be affecting you specifically, whether that be your rising sign, sun sign, or ascendant sign. So let's get started. So welcome to September 2017. So we are still in these after effects of the total solar eclipse that happened in Leo on August 21st. And what really gets that started is Mercury. So Mercury will be going direct on September 5th at 28 degrees Leo, which is where the total solar eclipse happened. So it's going to reactivate a lot of events in and around the eclipse. And we'll start to see news from around that time gain momentum and speed. Now, what's interesting is that Mars, the planet of war, aggression, drive, is sitting right next to Mercury for about 2 weeks in the beginning of September. So adding to this momentum and this movement with Mercury, and Mercury and Mars together are all about like forceful communication, sudden realizations, very passionate communication. So that's great. Everyone loves passion, but sometimes when Mercury and Mars can come together, especially in the sign of Leo, egos can be inflated, temper tantrums can happen, conflicts, because again, Mars is the planet of war and aggression. So, my advice with Mercury, going direct, that's great. We can now start to get things moving. Any stalls around communication will now start to eventually, as it keeps moving direct, get untangled. And then with Mars there, it'll definitely propel us into communicating more directly, more forcefully. But just watch your temper, make sure, again, even though Mercury is direct, that people are really understanding where you're coming from and that you're not being too hostile or aggressive or even egotistical in your communication style. So the next event that happens in September is the full moon in Pisces that is actually going to be conjuncting or right next to Neptune in Pisces. So full moons are all about completions, endings, and they bring things to head. So with the full moon being right next to Neptune and Pisces, Neptune is delusions, illusions, the subconscious mind, Imagination, music, art is definitely Neptunian ruled. So is oil and gas, which is interesting. Obviously, since the hurricane happened, we're having influxes around, clearly around oil and gas because of the effects of the hurricane. So it'll be interesting to see what happens around this full moon. So with the moon and Neptune coming together, you know, the positive aspects of this are just an abundance of emotion around imagination. This is a great time to create art. This is a great time to create music. Anything that requires your imagination and just, you know, kind of drifting off and letting yourself flow in the creativity is great at this full moon in Pisces. Now, what to watch around this full moon in Pisces is, you know, because full moons bring things up, we're usually more emotional as it is during full moons. With Neptune there, you can maybe be misled. You can judge a situation, or your emotional state can be a little unclear. So there can be some confusion, some illusionment, disillusionment at this time with emotions. So just, again, double check and make sure that you're coming from a solid ground and that you're not deceiving yourself or being deceived, you know, through this influence. But really, the full moon is beautiful, and it's a very idealistic and just dreamy influence. So the next, you know, big event astrologically in September is with the new moon, and the new moon happens on September 19th, and it's in the sign of Virgo, and it's going to be in a harsh aspect to Saturn and Sagittarius. So new moons are about fresh starts, new beginnings, initiations, and in the sign of Virgo, Virgo rules the natural sixth house, and that has to do with work, health, routine, day-to-day living, pets even is the sixth house. So there could be new starts around your health, around your well-being, around your job, your day-to-day responsibilities. And again, here in the United States, a lot of people are obviously going back to school, back to work. So every time, you know, we always have a new moon in this time of year. So, you know, it's time to get back to work like Virgo's like, and get in gear. Now with Saturn there, kind of in a harsh aspect, what this new moon will be saying is hey, are your plans, you know, for your workout routine, say, or for a new diet, are they built on solid foundation? Do you actually have a plan? Are you actually putting into existence a structure to help support your goals and endeavors? So with Saturn there, again, in that kind of tense aspect with this new moon in Virgo, it'll test you to see, okay, do you have what it takes to make this successful, this plan successful? So, you know, again, beautiful new moon, great time to get a start on cleaning out your closets or just reorganizing, you know, your life, your diet, you know, your mindset, because Virgo definitely rules the mind as well. So, you know, a great new moon, but again, just a little precautionary with Saturn. And again, Saturn will just do tests. It'll just make sure that, you know, everything is legit and strong. And then at the end of the month, we have Pluto, our little dwarf planet Pluto, which really packs a punch, going direct in the sign of Capricorn. So Pluto in astrology rules transformation, regeneration. It's the secondary ruler and now the primary ruler of the sign of Scorpio. So it can deal with death, again, rebirth, regeneration, transformation. And when it goes direct, we'll start to see a lot of the internal work that we've been doing, you know, regenerating and transforming inside of ourselves, start to manifest on the outside. So external events will now start to transform, will start to regenerate themselves, and we'll start to really feel this powerful sense of moving forward, you know, with whatever we've done during the retrograde season, and we'll be able to really put, you know, what we've learned and how we've grown, you know, again, put it out into the world to be externalized and to be utilized and to be transformed. So guys, this is the monthly forecast, the general overview. I'm going to go into now all of the 12 signs. So whether that be your rising sign, your sun sign, or your moon sign, and I'm going to look at how the full moon in Pisces and the new moon in Virgo are going to be affecting each sign. So we'll get started. Aries. So Aries, the full moon in Pisces and the new moon in Virgo are happening in your 12th house and in your 6th house. So the full moon in your 12th house will bring up completions around your subconscious, around any demons that you're dealing with. Definitely it can help you sleep. It can help release any kind of ailments that you've been dealing with or have been experiencing recently. The new moon in Virgo in your 6th house will be all about new beginnings with career, with your health, with your diet. Virgo naturally rules the 6th house. So new beginnings, again, you could get a job, you could start a new health routine that's really successful. So this is a good time to start on September 19th. Taurus. So Taurus, this series, the full moon and new moon, will be happening in your 11th house and in your 5th house. So the full moon in your 11th house is completion with friends, groups, associations. You could be seeing the fruition of a wish or a dream at this time. And then the new moon in your 5th house is about new beginnings in creativity with children, anything where it has to do with your self-expression, so new beginnings around a good time to conceive, a good time to adopt a child if that's something you want to do. But overall, just a good time to initiate new projects around your own inner creativity and let your light shine. Great. So Gemini, this full moon and new moon is happening in your 10th and 4th houses. So the full moon in your 10th house is about completions around your destiny in the world, your life path. This could be completions around and with male figures, whether that be superiors or like father figures in your life. And then the new moon in Virgo will be happening in your 4th house of family, foundations, emotional stability. So a new moon in your 4th house could be a new home. You could be renovating your property or looking to purchase additional property or establishing new emotional foundations in your life in a lot of different areas. So Cancer, these eclipses will be happening, or these new full moon and new moon will be happening in your 9th house and your 3rd house. So the full moon in your 9th house will be dealing with completions around travel, foreign lands, higher education. So you could be going back to school or you could be getting your degree at this time or certification. And then the new moon in your 3rd house will be around communication. So new beginnings in how you communicate with people, new communications, new contracts could be coming your way, new beginnings with siblings, 3rd house of siblings, but just overall a new beginning and awakening in communication. Leo, this full moon and new moon is happening in your 8th and 2nd house. So the full moon in your 8th house will bring completions around joint resources, intimacy, taxes. You could be getting an inheritance at this time, say. So anything that has to do with joint resources and, again, things coming to completion. And then the new moon in the 2nd house will be dealing with money. So your money, what you earn. So new beginnings with either a new job or maybe a new source of income. 2nd house also has to do with self-worth. So new beginnings in, how you see yourself and your own self-worth and vitality are definitely present at this time. So Virgo, the full moon and the new moon will be happening in your 7th and 1st house. So the full moon in the 7th house has to do with completions with partnerships, whether that be romantic or business, and also, coming together, formalizing a contract is really, a manifestation of a full moon in the 7th house. And then in the 1st house, new moon is all about you. It's your identity. So it could literally be you purchasing a new wardrobe, rebranding yourself, quote unquote, could happen when you have a new moon in your 1st house because it's your physical self. So massive new beginnings in your life around September 19th, again, that directly affect you. And again, you could be physically transforming yourself around this new moon. So Libra, these eclipses are happening in your 6th and your 12th house. So the full moon in Pisces is in your 6th house of health, routine, diet. So you could finally be seeing the results of a diet, health routine plan that come about at this full moon. And then the new moon in your 12th house could be new beginnings around your subconscious mind, learning about new ways to deal with maybe even like a sleeping disorder. You could be totally discovering new ways to sleep better, tapping into your creativity. 12th house is definitely the house of creativity. So you could be initiating new ways to be creative and to also help deal with healing and well-being. You could be finding new modalities around healing definitely at this time. So Scorpio, these full moon and the new moon is happening in your 5th and 11th house. So full moon in the 5th house has to deal with completions around children, creativity, recreational activities, love. So you could be like kind of formalizing a new love interest at this time. You could be getting more serious. You could be doing a new project with a child or involving children. Something will kind of come to fruition around that, or again, around your creativity. And then the new moon in your 11th house is new beginnings with friendships, groups, associations, goals and wishes. You could totally come up with a new goal that really inspires you and ignites you, and then you might go and meet people that will help support you in those goals. So a great time for Scorpios. So Sagittarius, these full moon, or this full moon and new moon is happening in your 4th and 10th house. So the full moon in your 4th house has to do with completions with family, home, your emotional roots and foundation. So you could literally be moving. You could be completing a renovation around a property. You could be closing on a new property. Or you could be having completions around women in your family, whether that be your mother or close women to you in your inner circle. Could definitely be a manifestation of the full moon in the 4th house. And then the new moon in Virgo will be in your 10th house. And the 10th house is your career, your life path, your destiny. So new massive beginnings in your life path, around your job, your career, new beginnings with either authority figures, usually male. 10th house is traditionally male, 4th house is female. So new beginnings with, again, men in your life, and just an overall sense of a new beginning of moving forward with your destiny in the world. Great. So Capricorn, this full moon and new moon are happening in your 3rd and 9th houses. So the full moon in your 3rd house is about communication. So it's about completions around communication with your siblings, with your close community. So you could be having news come in, definitely communications, 3rd house, around your community or having to do with your siblings. You could start to, finally complete certain things around communication. If you've been wanting to tell somebody something, this is a good time to complete that with the full moon in your 3rd house. And then the new moon in Virgo is in your 9th house of foreign travel, secondary education, luck, abundance. So definitely new beginnings around, the way you think. You could definitely be even going back to school and pursuing a secondary degree or certification. Great time to begin new travels. Again, 9th house is usually like long distance travel, so to foreign lands. And also, like I mentioned, a great time to go back into school and pursue, whether it be an actual academic, certification, or you could also be going and doing like personal development work at this time. Okay, Aquarius. The full moon and the new moon are happening in your 2nd and your 8th houses. So, the full moon in the 2nd house is about completing things around the way you make money. It's also about completing issues around self-worth. It's definitely about, ending a project that you've been working on, or ending, possibly getting a check or a sum of money that has been owed to you. Definitely could be a manifestation of a full moon in the 2nd house, or a project that you've been working on that will bring you income, or secondary income could definitely come to fruition at this full moon in Pisces. And then the new moon, which is happening in your 8th house, is about intimacy and about new joint endeavors. So you could be joining someone in a partnership right now. You could be seeing new sources of income come in from partners, or your partners could be having new sources of income come into their lives, which will directly, of course, affect you. And just new ways to feel intimately connected with people. There could be like a rebirth of that intimacy between you and other people at this time. And then Pisces, last but not least, this full moon and new moon is happening in your first and your seventh houses. So full moon in your first house is about a completion literally with your physical body. So you could be completing, you know, a diet or a, you know, kind of a health routine. You could start to see now like the full manifestations of it. So if you've been doing like a workout routine, finally you could see, hey, I'm losing weight and I look great. And again, this is manifesting for you mainly in the first house, which is a physical level. You could also be completing certain things around your self-image. So if you thought you were one way, you could have a massive realization at this full moon in Pisces, again, about yourself and kind of rediscover who you really truly are. And then the new moon is happening in your seventh house, and seventh house has to deal with partnerships, intimate, professional partnerships. So you could be forming new alliances. Right now, this is a great time to meet new people, and they'll be very beneficial for you in any shape of your life, anywhere in your life, and you'll really benefit from these new associations, whether they be romantic, you know, or you know, platonic or business. So guys, this was my take on September 2017, and then again on the little extended portion with the full new moon forecast for each zodiac sign. So I just want to leave by saying, you know, thank you to everybody for their love, support, and please come and check out Astromomma on Facebook and my website, astromomma.com. You know, like, subscribe to my channel. Again, you guys just keep me rocking and rolling. And September is going to be a great month. It's going to feel like things are finally moving. So if you felt stalled, things are going to really start to take effect, especially with Mercury and Mars reactivating that eclipse, this, you know, potent full moon in Pisces conjunct Neptune, the new moon in Virgo, you know, with its new roots in health and well-being, and then Pluto going direct and, you know, having our regeneration really take effect on externally. So it's going to be an exciting month. I thank you for all your love, support, kindness. You know, you guys just, again, keep me going. And please like, comment, subscribe to my channel. And I will be back next week for the weekly forecast, or actually in a couple days for the weekly forecast. And you guys have a great month of September. Thank you. Bye.